Hello, hi, welcome to this webinar. It's an informative webinar about the next conference of the International Society for Ecological Economics, which will take place in Santa Marta in Colombia from the 26th to the 27th of October this year, 2023. We are very pleased to be here with you. I'm trying to solve some questions and use some comments about the organization of the conference. My name is Roldan Muradian. I'm the current president of the International Society for Ecological Economics, and I'm based in Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil. And here with me is Andrea Cardoso, who is the president of the Andean Society for Ecological Economics, and also is a professor of the University of Magdalena, the venue of our conference, and she's also leading the local organizing committee. So, thank you very much, Andrea.
Hello to everybody, to those that are in YouTube and also in Facebook. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on who you are. We are here trying to explain all the possibilities of participation for the conference. The conference is going to take place in Santa Marta, Colombia, from the 23 until 28th of October of this year, 2023, and we're happy to receive you here in Santa Marta. Santa Marta is a city in the Caribbean coast of Colombia. It's a very touristic city that has all the services to have you here in Colombia. So we have a really challenge during this year organizing this conference in the best way to receive many people in the conference in Santa Marta. We are the university host, so we are really happy to have you here. We will see that this conference is very innovative, has many ways to participate, and we are here with Roldan try to explain the different ways that everybody can participate, different groups.
Thanks, Andrea. We will organize the webinar as following. First we will have a brief introduction to the conference. It has been already done, and then we will have a justification of the innovations we're making in this conference. One of the features of this conference is that we are trying to innovate on different fronts, and we will make a very brief justification of those innovations. Also trying to explain what are these innovations about. And we are aware that these innovations can create some confusion because people are not used to them, so they are new for many people. That might create some confusion. Therefore, why the third part of the webinar we'll talk about different modalities of participation, and as well we will try to answer your questions. You can put your questions or comments on the chat of YouTube, and this session will be recorded, so also you can share the video afterwards with your colleagues. So today's session is in English, but tomorrow at the same time we are going to have a session in Spanish. The reason is because the conference is going to be bilingual. Bilingual will mean that the sessions will be either in English or in Spanish. We are not going to have simultaneous translation for all the sessions because this is really impossible, it's too expensive. But we are trying to translate the plenary sessions. So that's an important feature of the conference. It's going to be bilingual. The sessions either in Spanish or English. Now, going to the innovations we have decided to introduce in this conference. The first innovation, which is very important, is that we're going to have pre-recorded presentations. The justification for that is that, well, there are many reasons. The main reason is that we assume that the core activities in a conference, in an academic conference, is the interaction and the social interaction, meeting people in person and exchanging ideas, etc. While in conventional academic conference, most of the time is allocated to presentations. So I think that we can take advantage of the the revolution of the information technology and the fact that all of us were forced to learn to record videos and give lessons and to teach by using online platforms, etc. We can take advantage of those innovations in the IT to to pre-record the presentation, and in that way we will allocate more time to answer questions, to discussion, and to social interaction. The other reason is that in conventional conferences, you have normally many parallel sessions, and it can be very frustrating because you miss several sessions that you would like to have attended, but it's impossible to attend all the sessions. While with pre-recorded presentations, all the presentation would be in the website several weeks in advance to the conference. So that means that you actually can attend all the presentations you want, right, at your own time and your own speed, and with a lot of flexibility about attending the presentation. We hope that this way of organizing presentation will result in a better, a more meaningful interaction with colleagues during the in-person sessions. Right? There are some challenges that we assume that, of course, that participants have to watch the presentations in advance, and that is a tricky issue, right? As you are aware of. But the idea is that you could have all the presentation in your phone and through the website, and you can navigate all the presentation, and you can also better decide which session to attend. But in order to have a meaningful interaction, you have to watch. The participants have to watch the presentation in advance. We know that there is a kind of strong assumption, but let's see how it works. In any case, this new format is a sort of experiment, that we are taking the risk of this experiment. It might work, might not work. It depends very much on your participation, and how people interact with these platforms. And now another innovation, an important innovation of the conference, is that we have adopted a very much bottom-up approach. What does it mean? It means that instead of predefining the themes of the conference, the main themes of the conference, we have launched a call for what we call regular track. A regular track is just a set of sessions, and we are going to have sessions of 1 hour and a half. All the explanations about these modalities that I'm explaining now are in the website. But I'm just trying to make it clear now. So if you have any further question, please go to the website and look at the general approach section of the website, and you will see all the explanation I'm talking about. So a regular track is just a theme that could be, let's say, I don't know, management of watersheds, or it could be payment for goods and services, or it could be macroeconomic models from a global economics perspective. Any subject, general subject, that can gather interest of people. So if you propose a regular track, you will be the chairperson of that track, and up to 4 persons can propose a regular track. So the idea is that the regular tracks will define the main themes of the conference. that the main advantage of that is that, for conventional conference, we organize the presentation in a kind of ex post way. So first we make a call for abstract, and then we receive many different type of abstract and diverse themes, and so you end up with a kind of chaos, and then you have to invest a lot of time in putting some order in this chaos, right? While if you predefine the themes and you have people in charge of those themes, that facilitates the submission process, because people just have to choose to which track they would like to submit their abstract. So the proponents of this regular track are expected to be also the chairpersons. You can work individually or you can work with colleagues. Up to 4 persons can submit a regular track. And then we will have a second call in March. All the dates and important dates are in the website. We have put the link to the website here in the chat of YouTube. And we will have a second call for abstracts. And then people submitting abstract will have to choose to which track they will submit this abstract. The chairperson will be in charge of selecting the abstracts, approving the abstracts in a similar way to all the academic conferences. And the chairperson and the proponents of the tracks will be also in charge of organizing the sessions. So they have to decide about the number of sessions, bearing in mind that we have set a limit of 5 presentations per session, right? 5 abstracts per sessions. So a regular track could have up to 7 sessions. It can be composed of up to 7 sessions. That means maximum number of 35 abstracts. That's really the maximum. That's a lot. Probably we expected regular tracks will have less sessions. So if there are questions about the regular tracks, you can share your question here in the chat. Otherwise, I will try to explain very briefly another modality of participation, what we have called special tracks. A special track has a similar structure to as a regular track. The main difference is that the proponents, the chairpersons, they already know who will participate. So therefore, they are somehow a kind of closed session, closed set of sessions. So you already propose, when you set a proposal, you already propose the titles of the presentation and the participants, and therefore there will be no call, there will be no second call for absence. This modality is mainly meant, for example, for a network of researchers who already know each other and they have to organize themselves to have an internal workshop, for example, or it's meant for members of a research project, for a large international research project who would like to have coordinate and to have several sessions. And so the main advantage of this modality is that people can propose a set of sessions in which they already know who the participants will be. And this has a different deadline. The deadline for that is 3 months. But we encourage all of you already to submit your proposal as soon as you have a clear idea of what you want to do. The last modality of participation, which we have called format-free events, is much freer modality of participation, in the sense that we have allocated a special time, a special space within the conference for format-free events. That's the last date of the conference. And is composed of up to 3 sessions. So that means maximum of 4.5 hours. And what is the format-free event? So this format is meant, as its name indicates, to be very free in its format. It could be, for example, a mini course. You know, it could be an internal workshop. It could be an artistic expression. It could be, for example, a workshop on theater, and yeah, or it could be a presentation of a documentary you have developed, or it could be also a dialogue with uh, community-based organizations. It could be a debate. So this is very flexible in the scope and format. The only constraint it has is that it's composed of 3 sessions of 1 hour and a half maximum. But it could be one, or it could be two, it could be three. But it has to fit in this time slot, time allocation, because to make it compatible with. So we have allocated special time, specific time for format-free events in the conference, and that's in order to avoid competition with tracks. So the special event, these format-free events, they will not take place at the same time as tracks. It's a different type of thing. That's very good, because then people are free to attend. And then you can decide about the format. You can decide whether it's going to be open, or you are going to make an internal poll. For example, you want to make a course, and you want to make a poll for who will attend the course, and you can do it. I mean, the idea is that you help us as organizing committee to organize the conference. So in that sense, this is a very much bottom-up approach.
Yes, we don't have.
Andrea wants that.
Yeah, we don't have any comment yet, any question yet, but we would like to invite you to take advantage of this informative session to ask any question that you may have. In the Facebook, and we are in Facebook, and we are in YouTube. So please comment, ask the question. I have a question to sum up. Roland, what are the advantage, disadvantage, and the responsibilities of the different tracks and the free events? Can you sum up?
Yeah, let's start with the responsibilities. That can be a bit confusing. So for tracks and for format-free events, the proponents of these modalities will be also the person in charge, so the chairpersons, right? What are the responsibility of their chairpersons? And so in the case of regular track, for example, they will evaluate and approve or reject the abstracts. For example, I want to work on social metabolism in Latin America. That could be the theme, the theme of a regular track. And then you will receive abstracts of different people in Latin America has been working on that, and they want to present their results. And you, as a chairperson, jointly with some colleagues, as I said before, this regular track can be proposed by up to 4 chairpersons, 4 proponents, and you will decide, and will help us, because we are going to decentralize decisions about the acceptance of the abstracts. And you will decide which abstracts are accepted and which ones are rejected. And then you will also have to decide about the allocation of commentators. That's another innovation we decided to introduce. Since we are going to have pre-recorded presentations, we suggest that every session of 1.5 hours should have 2 commentators. The commentators are just presenters. I mean, that the chairperson choose just to launch the discussion. So these two commentators, they have to watch all the presentation in advance of these specific sessions, 5 presentations, and they have to make comments, or they have to make questions at the beginning of the session in order to launch the discussion. So it's also the responsibility of the chairpersons to decide who of the speakers that are participating in these sessions are going to be the commentators. Are going to have this responsibility to launch the discussion, right? That's very important, I think, because otherwise you may get in a kind of weird situation where you go to a session and nobody wants to speak. So having commentators is very important because it's a way of breaking the ice and launching the discussion. So the chairperson, in the case of special tracks, also have to decide, because the special tracks are closed sessions, so the participants have to decide it in advance. And in the case of format-free events, they have to decide everything about it. I mean, the whole format. And we are very flexible about the format, as I said before. So, for example, if the events are going to have a small goal, this is going to be open, it is going to be closed, and who will participate, and to what extent they are expecting to mobilize people in the country. So this is the idea. What are the main advantages and disadvantages? This is a key point, and I talked about it at the beginning of my presentation. So I think that the main advantage of having regular tracks is that people get engaged from a kind of bottom-up approach in the definition of the themes. The disadvantage might be that we don't get enough number of regular tracks. So for that case, we will, as organizing committee, we will have to define or complement the regular tracks with other themes that were not covered. So we are aware of this risk, and I think we will manage to cover a wide set of themes that could not be covered by proposals of regular tracks. Another disadvantage might be that we don't get many regular tracks. It depends very much on your engagement, your level of engagement. That's why we encourage you, that will very much depend on our community. We encourage you to disseminate these new modalities and to ask colleagues with whom you have worked on specific themes to organize a regular track or a special track. The main advantage of pre-recorded presentation is that, of course, we could allocate much more time for discussion, for questions. As you probably all of you have participated in academic conference, we all are aware that normally the time allocated to questions and answers and to discussion is very limited, because we spend a lot of time listening to presentation that actually could be watched in a video, in a YouTube. So it's a kind of strange to travel abroad many kilometers and just to watch presentations. The disadvantage is that people could be a bit lazy, and they could. The risk is that they don't watch the presentation in advance. If you don't watch the presentation in advance, you probably will get lost in the sessions which you would like to participate. So, in order to deal with this risk, we will make the presentations available several weeks in advance. But also, you can watch the presentation at any time from your mobile phone. So we will make sure that you will have access to Wi-Fi and good internet at the university and at the venue of the conference. And actually, you could watch the presentation, let's say, a few hours before the session, the night before, or whatever time you want. You also could watch the presentation at different speeds, because if they are going to be YouTube, so you can control the speed. You can accelerate the presentation. And also, could you choose the presentation you like the most? Because in conventional conferences, you cannot really choose. I mean, if you're in a session, you're not much interested in the first two presentations, but you want to watch the third one. But you have to be watching the first two presentations, not to miss the third one.
We have a comment here,
Yeah.
and a comment and question that the possibility to have a hybrid event, virtual, and also they can be there in Santa Marta. So as a organizer, I can tell you that yes, we are thinking about to do a hybrid event in the plenaries. Only in the plenaries, because the session is quite complicated, but the plenary, and also the plenary also will have a translation in Spanish and bilingual, Spanish and English, depending of the plenaries. So also we are planning to do parallel plenaries. So yeah, it's a possibility to have the hybrid or recording in YouTube, so many people can see it, but only for the plenary sections.
Yeah, the reason Minister was coming from Tom Smith. I mean, and the reason Tom we have decided only to have it for plenaries is that well, it requires quite an infrastructure to have hybrid sessions. You can disappoint many people if the infrastructure is not working well. So it depends very much on the speed of internet. Depends very much on cameras and good microphones and think about it. When we have, for example, 10 parallel sessions, that means that we have to have an excellent infrastructure, IT infrastructure in 10 rooms or 15 rooms at the same time. That's quite demanding in terms of infrastructure. So we thought that the risk of something going wrong is very high. It depends on infrastructure and high-speed internet. So we decided to have hybrid sessions only for the plenaries. So I would like to invite all of you. I mean, if you are Spanish speaking, tomorrow we are going to have a session that is going to be led by Andrea. Today I'm speaking much, but today will be Andrea's turn to speak, and it's going to be exclusively in Spanish. So we are going to have two webinars, one today in English and tomorrow in Spanish. I wanted to insist that since the conference is taking place in Latin America, we have decided to encourage the participation of Latin American colleagues through two main mechanisms. I mean, there is a special fee for Latin Americans. That's lower than for high-income countries. And also, we are going to allow sessions in two official languages, which are English and Spanish. Unfortunately, we cannot do it for Portuguese, because to have a trilingual conference is really too much. But we love to have the participation also of Brazilian colleagues. So tomorrow at the same time, we are going to have another webinar. And I think we are coming to the end of this formative session. If you have more questions or comments, please, you can contact us at any time. The website has an email account for that is managed by Angela Rueda, our secretariat in the head of our secretariat in Santa Marta, and we will answer your questions as soon as possible. So any further questions, please go to the website, check it. If you still have some questions after reading the information, we know that it can be a bit confusing because of the innovations. Please write an email to Angela through the official website of um, uh, the conference and email, and we'll try to answer your question as soon as possible. There is also the possibility of doing voluntary work for the conference. We have already received some questions about that. Yes, we are very open. Maybe Andrea, you want to talk about it?
Yes, I just want to also give announce that we are looking for voluntaries, English-speaking voluntaries. So please write us if you want to come, but maybe you cannot have the whole money for the inscription, for the register. So we really need voluntaries, English-speaking voluntaries. So you can write us through the web page.
Okay, so I would like to thank Angela, who is here in the backstage, and of course, thank you very much, Andrea. And we'll meet you again tomorrow, live in the webinar. This video will be recorded and will be available in the YouTube channel of the International Society for Economic Economics. So you can share it with colleagues, and we depend very much on you for having a successful conference. So please submit your proposal of regular tracks or special tracks or format-free events. Be aware that the same person or the same group of person can submit more than one proposal, right?
Or abstracts. Or abstracts when we get the themes, special, the regular tracks. So also, if any of you want to send an abstract according the topics of the regular tracks, so you are more than welcome. So we expect to see you on October here in Santa Marta, and also see you tomorrow at the same time if you have more questions.
Yes, and then we have managed to reduce some cost of the conference, so we are now having quite affordable fees, precisely to encourage participation from all around the world, but especially from our Latin American colleagues who are nearby. So it's less difficult to travel to Colombia. And well, for those who have not been to Santa Marta, I think it's a very wonderful place full of history. It's a melting pot of different cultures with a lot of indigenous and African influence. And also, from an ecological, socio-ecological point of view, it's an amazing place. Where you have forests, mountains, ocean, and lagoons, and amazing place. Full of places to visit after the conference. So we encourage you to submit your proposals or your abstracts. And just closing, and give the floor to Andrea to close this session, and then see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for your comments, for the listeners, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Please look the webpage, and we are happy to receive your question anytime. Bye bye.